Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Spanish parliamentary elections. Polls have closed and preliminary results say the ruling Socialist Party has won the most seats but does not have an overall majority. You're watching those live pictures from Madrid outside the Socialist Party headquarters right there. That means incumbent Pedro Sanchez will have to enter talks with other parties in order to form a coalition government. Joining us here on the set, Marc Sanchez, you're a Franco-Spanish lawyer and the founder of the Paris Bar's Franco-Spanish Commission. Most votes have now been counted. We're hearing 93% of the votes have been counted. Socialist Party is seen winning 123 seats in Parliament. How did they do compared to expectations?
Well, I think the PSOE is doing a very good job. They've increased by 50% of the last vote they had, and the Partido Popular, the Conservative, have been very defeated. The only question now is, as we mentioned before, who's going to make an alliance with who? So there are two combinations. One is the classical allies of the socialists, Podemos, the radical left-wing party, and the other ones are the potential allies, Ciudadanos, that are still, dancing the tango one step back, two steps further, either with the socialists or with the conservatives. The problem if they make an alliance with Podemos is that we will need additional local parties, such as the Basques and the Catalans. And if they do so, Pedro Sanchez will be tied up with the independentists in Catalonia. So I think he will try to avoid this scenario.
Yeah, you mentioned a big night for the Socialists, but also a disastrous night for the Conservative Popular Party. They're seen losing as many as half the seats they had in the previous parliament. What's really led to this debacle?
Well, the problem is probably because of Mariano Rajoy, the former president of the Spanish government and former leader of the
and former prime minister.
Absolutely. He didn't want to resign. He didn't want to step back and leave other leaders, just as Dolores de Cospedal, who should have been the leader of the party during the formal elections and during the campaign. She should have been the former prime minister before Pedro Sanchez, but she was involved in the Gürtel case, the famous corruption that has led to the vote against Mariano Rajoy. So she was unable to be presented as new leader of the Partido Popular. And Pablo Casado, the new leader, is someone that has never been really supported, neither inside the party nor outside. So I think that the Partido Popular is now paying the bill of all the mistakes that were done in the past.
Yeah, one of the major factors in this election was the crisis in Catalonia back when Mariano Rajoy was prime minister. When you look at those results at 93% of ballots counted, how do you feel Catalonia has affected the vote?
Well, I think that the Catalans will try to take advantage because Pedro Sanchez has always had an open approach with the Catalans. I mean, he never said he will be in favor of the independentism of Catalonia, but he said that he should solve this issue through the dialogue. The problem is that, once again, if he makes an alliance with the local parties, if he needs that, and if he cannot actually count with the votes of Ciudadanos, the center-right party, he will have to go with Podemos, the radical left, and all the local parties that could support him, including the Catalans. If he does so, then he will be tied up with the independentism in Catalonia, and will have no choice but to discuss with them. So the problem tonight is that if Pedro Sanchez does this, he is in real danger, and that will never solve the crisis in Catalonia.
Last time there were elections and government negotiation talks, it took about 10 months to reach a coalition deal. I'm sure a lot of people, many people in Spain are hoping it doesn't take that long. When you look at those results, how difficult do you think the talks will be in the coming days?
Well, once again, it really depends. Now, we know approximately all the votes, 93%. You said before, we're only expecting the Canarian Islands. They are 1 hour back from the continental Spain area. So I think it will not really change the vote. At the end of the day, the question is, who is going to make an alliance with who? The situation is very different from what it was 5 or 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we only had two parties, right, the Conservative and the opposition, whether it was the Socialists on one side or the Partido Popular on the other side. Now you have 5 parties. You have the new Podemos from the Indignados coming through the crisis of 2008 through 2018, and you have Ciudadanos, the center-right party, plus the newcomer Vox, which makes the big difference tonight.
Right. Okay. That is all the time we've got for. Unfortunately, you have to go join our French colleagues on France 24 in French, but thank you for being with us. Marc Sanchez, Franco-Spanish lawyer. As we've mentioned, the results are coming in thick.